Welcome, Philly Uncensored Sports Podcast. Back at y'all again with another video. You can catch us on multiple platforms. We got YouTube, we got Facebook, Spotify, Twitter, and I think that's it. I covered all. We're iTunes and
Nah,
iTunes and iTunes.
Yeah.
There we go. I'm the only one who get it right. They mess it up all the time, but
You just didn't. But
you can't help
Twice.
you can't help everybody, y'all. Everybody ain't some people in remedial classes, but I digress. But we back here after Sixers 135-115 spanking of the Houston Rockets. I mean, it was down a couple people. We was, we had the. This is what I'm sure all Sixers fans expected to happen. It's pretty much probably the worst team in the league. They said, I didn't even realize, they said at one point they lost 20 games straight. So, yeah. I mean, it just shows you what type of situation Houston in right now. So we did what we supposed to do. We went out and handled business. It was a couple things I liked about the game. I mean,
what did you like? This game was boring. What else we got to talk about?
No, I'm going to actually just start off. Honestly, I know I'm the president of the band Hate Fan Club. But I do have to give him some props early. There was a couple plays early in the first quarter that he came out, and I love the way he played. The Bull Porter Jr. scored on him one time, and the very next play, Ben Kane took it down, threw him in the weight room, bang, 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 hit him with a little, his little jump hook that he do, and it went in. And I think like the next drive or the drive after, he came down one-on-one, took it right to the cup. This is what I want to see. This is all I'm asking for. This Ben, how he played at least in the first half. Now, he ain't really get that much time in the second half and all that. It was blown out, starters kind of chilled out. But what I saw in the first half is what we're going to need in the playoffs, come Milwaukee or the Nets or Miami, whoever we're going to have to see, especially when we talk about the top teams, this the Ben we're going to need. This is what I like. I hear. Go ahead.
Man,
Co-president, you got hate.
Listen, man, they played 6-7 people today. Should he have done that? Yeah, it's the team you practice on. All right, you get your practice on. So now when we play a real team, I want to see you pull that out. That's all.
I agree. That's all we can ask for.
Yeah,
that's all we can ask for. I'm in perfect agreement with it. I mean,
but what I liked about the game, what I did like, even though the game feel like it took forever to get over. Like,
yeah,
just end this thing. Maxey citing that he looked good tonight. Granted, Houston players like they have no legs. They played very long minutes. So, granted, everybody's going to look pretty good because especially winding down toward third, fourth quarter. Because playing these long minutes were only these, playing, but they play 6 or 7 at the most. Then they had to go down to 6 when Kevin Porter Jr. got hurt. So, yeah, everybody's supposed to look good. But having that Maxey sighting, I think, was a good thing to see. Maybe, I don't know what happened with Korkmaz. Was Korkmaz hurt? He didn't play tonight?
Yeah, Kork is hurt. He sprained his ankle last game.
Okay, so he was forced. He was forced to play Maxey.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see how Doc goes. I really, be honest with you, I don't like what I see in Doc's rotation. I know it's going to change in the playoffs, but we'll see what happens.
Actually, it's funny. I actually thought it was a better rotation that he started with tonight than he had. I kind of talked about it last time. During that run, it was a tight game. It was 28-28. Doc took all Danny Green was hot early. He took all the starters out except for Danny Green and Ben and brought the bench in with him, and they went on that run. They went on an 11-zip run in the quarter. So I said I like that because I think, like Tim was talking about last time, that whole just putting a whole collective 5 in, like subbing out 5 wasn't working. So he did that. He brought Ben in and Danny in with the bench. And then when the next time when they came back, then he had like Hill running with the starters and stuff in certain minutes. So I think you do got to kind of split that up some, like the bench. You can't just have all bench and then all starters like that. I don't think that works.
So the Sixers right now, they have 6 games remaining on their schedule. The magic number is 4. They need 4. They need to win at least 4 games, and they have the East wrapped up. So we just handling business. This game.
Let me. Can I ask y'all something real quick? How do y'all feel about Seth?
I mean, listen, like I told y'all. Well, I wasn't here for the last joint. Go ahead, Ethan. Go ahead, speak your piece.
I don't.
We don't go around first. Just give our own.
No, my fault, Tim. Go ahead.
I
mean, Ephraim went on so long. I thought we all went 3 times already.
No,
I think he took off like the first 10 minutes of the show.
No,
that's why he don't need to open.
But to answer your question,
people want to hear.
To answer your question though about Seth.
No, talk about the game. We don't want to hear what you got to say about Seth.
I just want to say no and then come back to it.
Because you could have just started off and been the first person to say something about Seth, but instead you wanted to throw a hissy fit. So now go ahead.
Exactly. He want to stick to his format. Go ahead.
So to answer your question about Seth, because I'm gonna say what I want to say anyway. Die slow all 3. I'm not sure, but Seth earlier this week he did an interview after a post game interview. He said the reason why he's playing well is because I'm not playing a lot of minutes. I'm feeling fresh because we haven't been playing in the fourth quarter. That was his statement. So to me, Doc may have to pull back some of his minutes for him to get the best out of Seth Curry, because we're seeing the best out of him right now. We ain't seen this since the first 5 games of the season when he was coming off of like off season. So maybe the deal is just to play him 20 minutes a game.
You played more minutes in the playoffs though. So what do you?
The other four starters may, but for Seth.
Yeah, Korkmaz, Maxey, Shake. You could give any of them more minutes. If it makes Seth more, valuable and more, more beneficial for us, give him less minutes. Then
that's what I would think.
I gotta tell you, I'm not sold on this George Hill thing either. Be honest with you.
Me neither.
He's okay at best. At best.
But let me speak on Seth before we talk about George Hill, because I agree with a lot what you're saying with George Hill. But Seth, see, this is my problem with the whole Seth thing, right? How long you been in the league for? Like, I know you mostly was coming off the bench and all that kind, and maybe this is new to you. Maybe all these minutes is too much, and you're not really a starter, or you trying to, I guess, acclimate your game to being a starter now because you was used to playing 12 to 15, and now you playing 25 plus, close to 30 minutes and all this other stuff, or over 30 minutes, and now you're like, my body ain't built for this. But I mean, if that's the case, then like we were saying before, we might have to come off the bench then. If we get the best out of you with 15, 20, 19, 20 minutes, then Doc may have to make some adjustments to have you come off the bench. Or just like you said, shorten your starting time. I think what it may be a good idea, honestly, I think we talking about this either on here or on our private joint, is pull some of them start. You should always, that's what it was. Tim on the last podcast that him and Wayne did, right? Tim was saying you should always have one of your starters, I think, in the lineup. He don't like the whole Brett Brown. Doc Rivers put the whole 5 bench players in at one time and pull the starters. I agree with that. I think if you got scorers on your starting rotation, especially we have like a soft big 3 with Ben, Tobias, and B, you need to make sure, or even now Seth, like that he playing well, that may be a move for him. 5-6 minutes into the game, you pull Seth out the game, and then when you're ready to go to the bench players, you add Seth back in there to give him some legs to make sure you ain't wearing them down, and continue to do that throughout the game. But I think you should always have a starter in throughout the whole course of the game, my opinion.
Yeah, Seth might be 22 minutes, and Shake might be the other 22 minutes. Like that. That's how we would do, and the filling the others, filling Maxey somewhere else in there, but. Seth, it's too many minutes for Seth. We see that. We're getting good minutes. We're getting good production right now out of Seth Curry, right at this time. And it could be the inferior talent that we've been playing for the last 4 games as well.
Very true.
But that's the point. Like Tim said that last game. But this is my thing about that. Remember, Seth was missing wide open shots before everything. When he was wide open, it was money. And he's had opportunities to have wide open shots and just been off.
Is his legs dead though? Is he tired?
No. But that's what I'm saying. Even when we're talking about the inferior talent, he's still going to get opportunities to get open shots. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because Embiid and Tobias and Ben at times happen to be double teamed. So they're going to get open shot attempts for Seth. He just wasn't hitting them open shots at all. So maybe that's the answer. Give him less minutes and he'll be more.
Wait. He said because first of all, he looks out of shape. He probably needs to slim down. He needs to drop at least 15 pounds.
Who Seth?
Yeah. Was he the chubby Curry? Chubby Curry? He looks
Did he
way
look out of
heavier
shape in
than
the beginning of the season?
he looks way heavier than Steph. Way
Did
heavier
he
than
look out of
Steph.
shape in the beginning of the season?
Yes. He
But he
always
was
looked
hitting in
out
the
of shape.
beginning of the season.
He can't create his own shot. He has a problem with that. I mean, he's all right. He's all right as far as you know.
No, I mean, I'm laughing. I said that from the beginning of the season, though. But my thing is, as long as he can hit the open shots, if you're a shooter and you could just hit them wide open shots, that's all I need him to do. I don't need him to be out there trying to.
Let me stop taking jabs at that man, little brother.
Listen, I mean, no. Listen, the fact of the matter is, though, I've been saying he looked like he was a little overweight, but I mean, if you cool with your size, if you've been playing at that size, I never really followed his career that closely. I'm not sure what size he was playing with when he was with Dallas and all these other teams he bounced around to. But if you comfortable with your size, you comfortable with size. Kyle Lowry is a huskier bull. Like that's the bull you want. I want Kyle Lowry. He will take us to the championship.
Don't Steph got bad ankles? Steph got bad ankles?
Yeah. I don't know. Do he? He got bad ankles?
Yes.
Yeah. Are they cankles?
Maybe bad ankles running the Curry family. Did his dad have bad ankles? He passed on a history of bad ankles to his kids.
Yeah,
genealogy is
he used to wear braces back in the day.
It's like no, he did. Grandpa Curry got bad ankles too. Like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if that's the case, then maybe you should lose some weight. But like I said, if you come, I don't know. If he's comfortable playing at that weight, I'm fine with playing at that weight. But like, I mean, we all saying here, I think his time needs to be cut down. He may not have starter. What's the word I'm looking for?
Stamina.
Yeah, there you go. The fortitude to play starter in the league.
So, what y'all think is more important to get these first seed or going to the playoffs healthy?
First seed.
We could do both.
The
number one seed is very important, but the way it looks like now, once you finish, they says we're gonna have a week off.
Yeah, the playoffs don't start. Our last game is like the 4.
Is that because the playing games or something?
Yeah, you got all that.
Our last game is like the 14th, and the playoffs itself don't start until like the 22nd or something. It's something like that. The playoffs don't start till May 22nd, and I think our last game is the 16th.
So they got a week, and then again, right, if we win out, we win our next 4 games. The last 2 games, we don't even got to play our starters.
The only thing I don't like sitting that long.
Me neither.
Because it's like rust when you come in that first game.
But everybody's sitting though, ain't they?
No, because you got to play in games, don't you? And we play one of them first teams.
That's true.
And I think Joel is actually doing the right thing. He said earlier in the press conference, the post-game press conference the other day, he said the last few games he's been pacing himself, so he hasn't been going really hard. And you can see that on the floor.
I was going to say that it does. You can see it on the floor.
He said, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to pass the ball, trying to see once I get double teamed, get that ball to the next person. He knows he can score. So what he's doing is he just practicing what's going to happen when they double team me. Let me get that ball out quick. So he's actually, by playing, he's staying in shape, but he's not exerting himself. So this is actually a good thing what he's doing.
So I agree with all that, Wong. So we got a week off after the last game. Are we not? So do you think it's a good idea to rest your starters the 2 games before the end of the season? So now you're talking about a total of like 8 to 10 days off.
If you're talking about resting as in playing them and then pulling them out early, like yeah, I agree. But just not playing them at all, I don't agree with that.
That's what I'm thinking. I think they should play. I ain't talking about 30 minutes playing, but like a 20 minutes or something.
Yeah,
I think it depends on how if those games matter for you to win first. Because the worst thing,
we're saying if it doesn't matter. We're saying if it doesn't matter.
If it don't matter, the worst thing what's the worst thing that could happen?
You get injured.
Injury, yes. Of course. But the worst thing that could happen too is that you kind of get yourself out of. That's a long time not to play.
They got no games. You still can practice. We're not saying you got to lay in the bed the whole time. We're saying is you're still going to practice with the team.
So can you get hurt? So can you get hurt in practice if you?
No, but Doc can throw it. Doc can
you get hurt in practice?
But that's too much time. It's not the same.
That's too much time for Steph and Embiid to eat.
But see, you talking about it's not the same intensity, but that's the point I think Ethan is making. Whereas though, if we're not playing with that same intent, you come in and you have that lax mental attitude coming in there. Do you trust this team to just turn it on like that?
I saw Ben came when he had that 10 days off when he had the swine flu. when he came back, he was so he was so refreshed, and he looked like a different Ben. So what I would do is I would rest. At least maybe two of the starters. I'm not gonna play y'all this game, but I'll play y'all the last game, and I'll do something like that.
I could see that. I mean, I'm hoping Doc got a game plan going in because that's a lot of time to be off.
So what's the where does George Hill fit in the rotation? Because where does he? Anybody notice when does he come in? He's not first. He's not second. You know what I mean?
I'm trying to remember when he came in tonight. He came in pretty early tonight. If I can't remember.
So we just didn't need him tonight. Remember. Tonight was just one of them nights where you just don't need this.
But we were
going to win this game regardless.
Yeah, but doesn't he need to be the backup point guard? Where is he going? Put it like this: where is he coming in the playoffs? Who's the rotation?
I think Doc. What Doc is going to do is he's going to be doing a lot of stuff. They're going to work a lot of stuff out right now. Right now, you just want him to get used to the offense.
First one off the bench is going to be shaken for Seth.
They're not going to give you everything.
Might be
right
and probably Matisse for Green. No, I think Shake has always been the first one off the bench.
Shake, it depends, especially if you need offense.
Well, Cork was coming off at one point.
First?
Wasn't Cork coming in?
I think Shake was always the first one off the bench for the most part.
Or was it that Cork was starting?
It might be Dwight.
Yeah, you might be thinking like when Cork was starting or something. But
yeah,
you know what? Man, even speaking of that real quick, I gotta give my man a shout out. Thibault, bruh, for somebody that's so limited offensively, he affects the game so much.
He had 3 steals. This
dude had 4 blocks, 3 steals.
Oh, they said 4 blocks?
Yes, he had 4 blocks. I mean, we said what it is. I mean, they don't got a big team; they got a small team. But still,
defensive player of the year, Thibault, my opinion.
If he was playing starter minutes, I would agree.
If you do a lineup with George Hill, Ben, Thibault, Embiid, and Danny Green, that's a tough.
No.
Matchup.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be tough to score. I mean, for both ways. No, it's gonna be tough for us to score, and it's gonna be tough for somebody to score on us.
Even if we got Danny Green and Embiid in there?
Danny Green too inconsistent, and Embiid gonna be your only real scoring threat.
Danny Green is a corner 3 is money right now.
Danny Green hasn't really been inconsistent though. He like this past week he was off some, but this season for the most part, Danny Green been consistent.
Danny Green was good. Then he hit a stretch where he was hot. Then he went back to
When was he off? I don't think that he ever.
When he was 0 for 10, he's like, I got 3 rings. You remember that whole?
That was one game. You talking about one game, right?
No,
and then right after that, he came out hitting.
No,
and right after that, he came out hitting.
And then he started slumping again. Danny Green's been up and down, except for I give him a good 2 weeks where he played very consistent. But Danny Green.
I agree with that.
Okay, all right. Watch Danny get in the playoffs. Watch how y'all come over here.
That might listen. I'm talking about this season. I'm talking about this season. I'm talking about what he did this season.
Danny Green's career.
You just was saying Danny Green wasn't playing good when Ben wasn't here. Now all of a sudden he's consistent.
No. Well, wait. No, when I said they was off, and didn't you come? You was the main one that came out. No, Danny Green actually had 19 points. He ain't had 19 points when Ben wasn't here.
Listen, Danny Green.
Because you sure enough said it when I said that game.
Danny Green.
I'll tell you, Danny Green. Go ahead.
I'm not. The bottom line is, I'm not relying on Danny Green to score. Like, you can run this defensive lineup out if you want, but I can guarantee you, the only person who's going to be a consistent scorer in that lineup is going to be Joel Embiid.
Oh, I'm not talking about running this as your starting lineup.
No, I'm talking to Tim.
But at certain points in the game, I wouldn't mind seeing that kind of lineup.
I would like to see an all defensive lineup, and I think we're actually the only team that can throw somebody out there.
If you got the lead. If you got an 8 to 10 point lead, I can see you doing that. If you need points, you bet not dare run no lineup out like that. I'm gonna go cut clean off.
If we can't stop, the thing is, if we can't stop our opponent from scoring, then I'm gonna throw that lineup out there.
Hold on, let me give you Danny Green's last 10 games since y'all hype about Danny Green. This is to the night too. 9, 14, 11, 5, 5, 5, 0, 18, 12.
And what was his shooting percentages?
I don't care what it was. I'm giving you his points.
But if he's not shooting,
because you talking about how
because I'm talking about shooting percent. I'm talking about his shooting percentages. Yes, if he's not shooting or if he's not playing that many minutes or whatever, that's something different.
My thing is, I'm not relying on Danny Green for no buckets. Danny Green, like I've been saying, if you get buckets, I'm happy, but I'm not like, oh yeah, I'm gonna run him out with this lineup and Danny gonna be one of the boys hitting. Nope, I'm not saying that. I'm saying I hear what y'all, I hear y'all with the lineup. Like I said, if we got a lead, I could go with that. But I'm not running that lineup out expecting nothing from Danny Green except defense.
No, I that corner three is
okay. All right.
Very good. Let me
ask LeBron about that last year when LeBron better take his head off because he kept missing all that dumb stuff.
It wasn't the corner threes though.
Okay.
It was top of the king.
It was top of the king. LeBron didn't figure that out.
Sometimes we'll show you what they is in the playoffs, like Ben did.
Who y'all prefer for the
like
first
Giannis
round?
did when he choked in the playoffs.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to go off of what Bulls did in the playoffs and expect that's what they're going to do this year too.
Okay. All right, you going to hate on Giannis? You going to do that?
I was going to talk about the second round matchup, but you want to talk about the first round matchup?
Hold on. It's a false misnomer
narrative.
What's false about it?
That Giannis gets put out the playoffs early.
They ain't get put out the second round against Miami?
Yeah, he got injured.
He got injured the third game, and he dropped, like 19 points in the first game. And he shot 50% from the free throw line those games.
But he didn't get hurt. Did he get hurt?
Yeah, and he came back and played.
All right, so hold on.
He didn't get hurt in the first game? Was he hurt?
What happened the year before that? He still got hurt. What happened the year before that?
They lost at home to Toronto.
When?
They won the first 2 games and lost 4 straight to Toronto.
Hold on. What round of the play?
He lost 4 straight games.
What round? It does matter. What round of the
4 straight
This is how you can't get a straight answer on this, dude.
And guess what? They won the first 2 after Toronto played a tough 7-game series against the Sixers.
What round of the playoffs was it?
It was the Eastern Conference.
Okay, so why do we keep having this false narrative like Giannis keeps getting knocked out the first round? You got to remember the year. Let's go back 3 years.
Okay.
Hold on. No, let me get this off. Let me get off. Wayne, he don't want to answer questions the whole time. The first time they was the 7th seed and they lost to the Boston, right? Mm-hmm. The next year,
what round?
The first round. They was the 7th seed, man.
That was
the first time.
To lose that. Yeah.
The first time.
We're talking about the 2 years when they were the number 1 overall seed. What happened?
Can I talk?
Because nobody was talking about that year.
In the second time, they was the first. They made it to the Eastern Conference Finals and lost to a better Toronto team. They were a better Toronto team. They was the best team in the NBA.
You just told me the Sixers were supposed to beat them. So now Toronto's the best team?
They won a chip.
Be consistent.
They won the chip.
When I was saying
I never said, hold on, first of all, I never said the Sixers was supposed to beat them. Ephraim said that.
I did say that, and I agree with that.
They was the best, so they lost in the Eastern Conference Finals. So they got past 2 rounds to the third round and lost, and everybody acts like, that's
Who
a
did
failure.
They beat the first 2 rounds?
Why do we act like that's a failure when we hoping the Sixers can at least get there this year? But that's a failure.
I don't understand. Because if the Sixers don't get there and don't beat it, organization. They're doing what you do as growing pains. You get better, you lose, you keep, and then you get better.
Exactly. That's what Milwaukee's doing.
They didn't get better. They
lost in the
conference finals, and then they lost in the second round of next year
because he got injured.
No,
and
no.
Hold on, and they had a garbage bull like George Hill.
They was losing before he got injured. They lost 4 games to 1. They lost 4 games to 1. They was losing before he got injured. And the year with Toronto, Toronto played the Sixers in a tough 7-game series while Milwaukee was sitting back chilling because they walked through Detroit in the first round and they beat a Boston team that was on the way down in the second round.
Now, the same Boston team that knocked us out, right?
So they were sitting back waiting. What last year when we only had Embiid?
They still knocked us out. Okay. Now all of a sudden they on the way down.
Yeah, but we're talking about the full roster they had, and they sat back and waited for Toronto. Toronto had that tough series against us. Toronto lost the first 2 games, and then once they got they win, they knocked them out, beat them 4 straight.
Toronto was a better team.
If you're the MVP of the league, you should not be getting swept like that.
Toronto, they didn't get swept. He won 2 games. He didn't get swept.
They won 2, and then he got swept out.
They didn't get swept though.
They didn't get swept. So you can't keep saying
they won the first 2 and got swept out from.
But
they lost 4 straight. That's semantics. They lost 4.
Well, they didn't get swept.
Well, they lost propaganda. 4 straight.
Yeah, that is a little propaganda. But I mean, listen. Ultimately, like I said, I think Milwaukee right now beefed up their team nicely. I mean, they ready to go. They got Holiday and they got the Bull PJ Houston. So I think they're ready to go. But on to another topic real quick. My man Russell Westbrook was in the news a lot this week because his coach Scott Brooks went on record to say that Russell Westbrook has passed all of the point guards in history except for Magic Johnson. How do we feel about that statement? He said he's the second greatest point guard of all time. Are we agreeing with this? Are we disagreeing?
I'm not going to argue. As a coach, as his coach who played for him on two different organizations, him making that statement, I'm not going to sit there and say you're wrong for making that statement, because what Westbrook has been doing has been phenomenal. I mean, those triple doubles, you can't discount them. The fact that Washington was struggling, if you noticed when the trade first went down, everybody was saying this is the worst trade ever, or they weren't winning at all. And then now he got them team playing almost like the seventh seed.
No, they're still a 10th seed. Let's not get carried away.
But they're still
and they just lost tonight. They lost by 1.
They're still a 10th seed, and they barely hanging on.
No. They've been winning lately though. Don't discount what they're doing.
Listen,
but if they've been winning lately and they only 10th, that means that they ain't been doing nothing all year.
Exactly.
They struggle.
Let me just throw out 4 names, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this ain't even in history. This is right now. Chris Paul, Dame Lillard, Steph Curry, James Harden, Kyrie Irving.
James Harden is not listed, not really a point guard though. That's not what he's going to go down as.
Or Kyrie Irving.
I actually think Westbrook goes over all of them except for Steph.
I wouldn't take him over Chris Paul.
I'm not taking Chris Paul.
If I'm
I would never take.
If I'm comparing their career, what has Chris Paul done?
Chris Paul has been nothing but a constant. I mean,
what has his team's done though?
His team's always been successful. And now
Westbrook went to the finals
with Kevin Durant and James Harden.
Came up one game. Okay. Chris Paul was over there with that Clippers team was supposed to be so big time threat every year, and they fell off every year. He was over there in Houston with Harden, and they couldn't get it done. They ran into Steph Curry. I'm saying. If you're looking at the numbers,
and with the Westbrook get done,
huh?
With the Westbrook get done.
No, but look at his numbers. His numbers is way better than
Chris Paul's. Care about that.
But all right, so then what are you just basing it on? Then, because all I'm saying is, Steph has numbers, and Steph been to finals and won finals. So I'm saying the other guys that you're putting up there, what puts them ahead of Westbrook? If you're talking about, and I'm not the biggest Westbrook fan because it's something about his mentality I don't like.
It's something about him winning on teams with him. Him winning. If you put Westbrook on a team by himself, I haven't seen him do anything.
Why would you keep on the team by himself?
What did you see Chris Paul do on a team by himself?
I mean, like even when you like, all right, with Westbrook and Harden do last year, they look terrible together.
I mean,
first of all, they traded the center, which was dumb.
What did he do with Paul George? What did he do with Paul George?
In fairness, yeah, they got by Dame Lillard. But in fairness to Westbrook, that team actually, like Tim said, they traded away their center Capella, which was dumb. But that team actually was looking pretty good when they got in the bubble and they got stopped by the champions, which was the Lakers. With Westbrook, in Westbrook's defense, I do think
terrible playoffs too.
Westbrook, the bottom line was wrong with Westbrook. All the assists and the rebounds is nice and all that. And Westbrook, to me, do a little stat pad. And I watch him. And even with OKC, I remember he used to run and try to grab rebounds from Adams and all that. Like, he jump in front. Like, he do stat pad. He do. Let's be real with that. But with that being said, the 20 assists and 20 rebound games, he got like 2 of them. He's the only player in history, I think, to get 2 of them, which is fantastic. Bottom line is, boy can't shoot. Ain't nowhere in the world you going down as the number 2 greatest point guard and your jump shot is broken. It's literally people let him shoot. What's the
definition of a point guard? What are they supposed to do?
Score and get their team involved.
Primary job as a point.
Run a team.
Yeah, you call him a shooting guard. He's not a shooting guard though.
He's supposed to run a team. If you can get 20 assists in the game.
So a point guard ain't supposed to be able to knock down an open jump shot? An
No,
NBA
I
point
said
guard, that's where they're
LeBron.
knocking out open jump. He cannot knock down an open jump
But
shot
how many
consistently.
points do he average for his career, though?
Magic didn't have no jump shot like that.
This is my point, though. So y'all talking about point. This is one reason why he's not successful. Because when the playoffs come, if you can't knock down an open jump shot, you won't.
So why
win.
ain't Chris Paul successful? See, that's all I'm saying.
No, but this is my point.
Listen, real quick though, honestly, I like Chris Paul better.
Mhm.
Chris Paul, Chris Paul was successful. Chris Paul, listen, if you put their playoff wins together,
if you go off the numbers, the numbers he has put up are as astronomical. So I'm just saying, like, if looking at that, I'm like, what does Chris Paul do better than him? Like where is Chris Paul better than him? It's not the numbers. He hasn't won more games and got the more championships than him. So what makes Chris Paul better than him, though?
See, but this is where to me you got to look at, and this is why I was kind of leaning to when I talked about Westbrook. He had a misfortunate situation of running into a lot of great teams, right? But even still, in a couple times, some of his teams should have won and they didn't. I say the same thing about Harden. Harden ran into a lot of great teams in the West. In very unfortunate situation, he ran into the Durant and Curry Golden State show. He ran into the Curry and Clay Golden State show. Wasn't nobody beating them teams. The only people that had a shot was Westbrook and Harden. I mean Westbrook and KD, and they choked in the 3-1 comeback when Golden State came back 3-1. They choked in that series. But my point is with Chris Paul, the same thing kind of happened to him. He ran into a lot of good teams.
The following year,
huh?
Didn't Golden State do the same thing the following year?
No, they did the same thing 10 days later.
Oh, okay. That's right.
Did the same thing 10 days later. But they did it in the championship. They also did it to the second greatest player, or some say the first greatest player of all time. But my point is, I'm not here to argue KD, Steph, KD is better. But my point is, we talking about Westbrook. I don't think I take Westbrook over Dame. I'm definitely not taking him over Curry. Chris Paul.
Dame done?
Huh?
What has Dame done?
Dame has, I guarantee you, if Dame been on a team with KD, they probably won a championship.
But
I could probably guarantee you that.
What has he done? That's the question.
But you know what? I don't mean to discredit that, because that's your opinion on it. I'm just saying, to me, I'm thinking about, like, if I'm a voter, like, you know what I'm saying. And
Dame, and real quick, Dame knocked off Westbrook and Paul George in the playoffs 2 years ago. Remember that? Remember that joint?
Yeah, because Westbrook had owned him up to that point, and then he got him.
Did he?
That series. Yeah, he did. That's
why with KD, when he was with KD.
That's why Westbrook.
If I'm in the playoffs, I'm taking
KD though, right?
Westbrook.
You taking what?
I'm taking Rondo over Westbrook.
I mean, you said the playoffs. I mean, playoff Rondo.
Yeah.
Playoff Rondo speaks for itself. I can't hate on that.
But listen, let me ask you this.
So if you put Westbrook on that Bron team, or you put Westbrook on the big three with Westbrook win the championship?
No. You put Westbrook on that Lakers team, they lose. He don't hit them threes like Rondo.
He ain't gotta hit threes like that. The defense alone, the athletes and the steals and stuff.
So let me ask y'all. In the history, Rondo better than, you think he better than?
You mean Westbrook?
I mean Westbrook. He better than Stockton, Isaiah Thomas, Nash, Kidd, Gary Payton?
No.
You putting him ahead of them guys?
No.
I'm not putting him ahead of the glove. I'm not putting him ahead of the glove. I'm not putting him ahead of Zeke by no means.
Zeke is number 2.
Yeah, I'm not putting him ahead of Zeke.
I think it's 1, 2, 3. Zeke is Magic, Zeke, and Steph to me on the point guard tip.
Yeah,
Westbrook probably falls somewhere about he in the
6,
top
7?
10. Yeah, he in top 10. He might be 8, somewhere around
how
there.
far back we going? Because Oscar Robertson.
We going modern era.
Okay, modern era. Okay.
Yeah,
guys I've seen play.
Honestly, though, I really can't. I'm taking him over Nash. What has Nash done?
I'll probably take him over Nash too. I do like the fact that Nash can shoot though. But you got to remember that Nash
Nash averaged like 13 points for his career. He was averaging like 13 points a game when they gave him MVP. No, good well that shit.
No. He was higher. I think he was averaging like 18, 19.
He wasn't averaging 18 and nothing like that. It was some crazy low number. He
won
with MVP.
Yeah, he won two MVPs, didn't he?
Yeah, and he shouldn't have won. How he won the MVPs when you got Shaq, Kobe, and AI in the league at the time? Like
that I agree with. I agree with that 100%. But I mean,
the reason why he got a head coaching job, coaching Durant.
I don't know. It's just something about Westbrook that seems like you got to find the right chemistry or the right team to build around him.
Yeah,
and I don't know.
That's how AI was.
Right, but AI is more AI could shoot better than Westbrook.
You gotta meditate on that for a minute. AI definitely can't shoot better than him.
Westbrook is more athletic than Iverson. He's
when you talk about shooting, isn't that even more amazing that somebody can't shoot and still averages like 23 points a game for their career or something like that? That's not something in itself.
And they made that comparison last week, as far as who was the better player, Iverson versus Westbrook.
Did they?
Yeah, and Perkins actually said that he would take Westbrook over Iverson.
Yeah, some of these dudes, they ain't.
He said he'd take Westbrook over Iverson.
Yeah.
No, this is my point. Westbrook can't shoot. I cannot legitimately put him that high when his jump shot is broke. It's bad. It's really bad.
Magic couldn't shoot.
No, Magic could shoot better.
No, Magic could not shoot. That's why they wanted. Magic couldn't shoot, and then he started developing that hook shot. That's why they wanted Ben to work with Magic, because Magic was a point guard that couldn't shoot.
Magic eventually developed a solid jump shot, bro. His Westbrook joint is I ain't never seen no point guard jump shot worse than Westbrook except Ben Simmons.
Magic couldn't shoot. He was
Magic could shoot a little bit. I actually went back and watched some Magic games because everybody kept screaming about Magic never shot. He didn't shoot. Magic could shoot a little bit.
He could.
That's really.
I watch Magic. I know. Magic was knocking down threes. That Bulls,
the 5-foot hook shots.
No, that Bull series that the Lakers lost when they won that first game. Magic was hitting threes and everything. Magic can shoot. Westbrook, listen, I'm not saying Westbrook can never hit no threes, but Westbrook was shooting at one point like 20-something% from three, and he be jacking. That's trash. I can't have. You can't tell me that number two point guard in history jump shot is broken. No, I'm not buying that. Over Zeke, over Steph. No, I'm not buying that. Over the glove.
We're about to wrap this thing up, y'all.
All right, real quick. Who y'all want in the first round?
I would take Charlotte. I would love to have Charlotte in the first round.
You got the Heat, Charlotte, the Wizards.
Charlotte
or the Wizards.
You want the Wizards? You want the Wizards in the first round?
Did the Wizards beat us this year? I don't think they beat us at all.
But we ain't played them recently. They've been hot lately.
Just real quick, you famous for fact checking and getting our facts straight.
What's up?
Steve Nash MVP years 05-06. He averaged 18 points, 11 assists one year, and 18 points and 10 assists another year. Shot 53% from the field one year, 51% from the field another year. That actually is very point guard averaging 8.
I don't care about point guard. He shouldn't have won it over Kobe.
No. Let's relax.
He was.
I'm not saying he should have won MVP. I'm just saying those are very good stats. You to average 18 points, you have almost averaging 20 points, shooting over 50%, averaging almost 20, and giving out 11 assists. Those are very, very good stats. Very good.
I wonder what Russell's numbers was for his MVP season.
Somebody said he averaged 11 points.
Yeah, I think somebody said 10, 13, 12.
That's my bad. He averaged 13 for his career. I was thinking for his career.
No, you said them MVP years. You was trying to
I was thinking for his career. That's my bad.
I know.
He brought it up from 11 to 13 with them MVP years.
You said the MVP years they was whack, and I knew it wasn't that bad.
Whack. I overstated it. It wasn't as bad as that.
I know, Wayne.
But it was whack.
They was, but by the way, Washington was 11.
That's not a whack year. It's just not good.
It ain't an MVP year.
It's not. It's an MVP year. If you don't have like Kobe doing what he was doing.
No, because they had 60 win.
Exactly. They was the top team going into the playoffs like every time and lose.
But that's a good thing. But that's a good thing. Like you can't hate on that. Your MVP, he was the main reason why they averaged 60 wins. You can't. Listen. One thing I'm not going to do is hate on Steve Nash. Steve Nash had game. He had a
listen.
Overhyped.
He did. And another thing I'm not when you talk about somebody's career average, a lot of things happen in career, especially back then. A lot of times dudes ain't start right away. They was playing limited minutes. They was averaging like 5-6 points a game. At the end of career, they wasn't playing a lot. So I don't look into career averages a whole lot to try to knock somebody, because a lot of things can happen to go wrong over the career. So it can make your average dip. So I don't really. I look at what you did at the height.
Well, Steve Nash's first year averaged 10 minutes a game. Second year, 21 minutes. Then after that, it was regular starter minutes to 30 minutes a game. So it wasn't like
he was playing with a different team in a different system.
He was playing with Dallas, and then they traded him.
So, like I said, a lot of things happened.
Dallas traded him
over your career.
Jason Kidd, and they started making the playoffs.
And so did Phoenix.
Nope, not right away. They didn't.
But they got better. That's what I'm saying.
But you're trying to say that like Dallas was a worse team, but Dallas traded for Jason Kidd instead of him, and they was winning.
The bottom line is when he started, and I agree with Ethan. There's so many things like even when you look at and I compare it to stuff like Curry. Curry didn't start exploding really until he got Kerr, and Kerr let him do his thing. He let him off the leash. If you look at Steve Nash, once he hit his 5th year, right, he averaged 15 points. The next year, 17, 14, 15, 18, 18, 16, 15, 16. So he constantly kept in the prime of his career, he was at least around 16 to 17
points.
So
you discarded his first 4 years?
I'm just saying, like I said, I didn't really watch him.
Are you going to discard the first 4 years? Ethan, are you discarding his first 4 years?
I'm not discarding the first 4 years. What I'm saying is when you get into certain systems and you get in, and the coach lets you play to your strength, like I said with Curry. Now, if Curry would have stayed, for instance, with Mark Jackson,
what year is been in right now?
Mark Jackson, a very good coach. But if Curry would have stayed with Mark Jackson and Mark Jackson was trying to get Curry to play traditional point guard, he would not be the Steph Curry we see today. So when you let somebody do their thing and let take the chains off, they can become a different player. It's obvious that he then started to really kind of rev his game up to another level.
Why always got to compare Ben? Why always got to compare Ben to everything?
Ben is trash.
Because what I'm saying is,
I'm wrapping this thing up.
If you're talking about 4 years,
no, be quiet.
You want to disregard those first 4 years.
Whatever y'all want to talk about.
But after 4 years of Ben, you saying Ben can't get no better after 4 years, right? But Steve Nash,
sometimes you gotta you don't listen.
Go ahead, Tim. You can wrap it up.
All right, so
everything comes back to Ben with him. Oh my
God!
So I'm just saying, be consistent with your reasoning. Be consistent with your reasoning.
No, Ben. Listen, Ben is different.
Is coming soon. The Philly Uncensored podcast sweatshirts will be coming soon.
Like Jamar said, Wayne is under that Ben spell.
Yeah, but you want to hype Nash and don't want to count his first 4 years though.
Sixers went on and beat.
You think Ben going to average
15, 18?
I can see him averaging 18.
18, 11.
Not counting his first 4 years.
Yes,
that was you.
Night.
By about 10th year, like Steve Nash year.